And he volunteers to save Haiti's 11 million citizens. Gangs overrunning the country while the prime minister had gone to Kenya to seal a deal for an international policing force.
Who will save Haiti? That's the question everyone is asking.
And who is responsible for this?
Kenya is sending 1,000 police officers.
The residents here are desperate.
Chérizier appears to be trying to reinvent himself.
We are fighting for another society, another Haiti that is not only for the 5% of the people who keep all the wealth, but a new Haiti where everyone can have food, clean water, so they can have a decent house to live in.
And so there's this specific video that was done by a journalist from South Africa, where this journalist was asking President Ruto why he decided to send African policemen all over the place to come all the way to Haiti. Haiti is a Caribbean country that is very far from Africa, and you know, Africans are not sure of this. We are not really comfortable with this. We understand that Jamaica and Haiti and other other countries of people of African descent, we confirm that these people are one people with Africans. And so the same way we will react to Jamaica, I think it's the same way we should react to Haiti. Haiti, as compared to Jamaica, Jamaica is very popular, more than Haiti. But the calamities that is facing Haiti makes me think that the same attention we are giving Haiti, we are giving Jamaica, is the same attention we should give Haiti. But does this fall into the trap, or does this fall into the class, not trap, class of sending policemen all the way to Haiti? That's the question we should ask ourselves. So without further ado, I want us to listen to this interview. I'll share with you my thoughts.
Let's talk about another hot potato, Haiti. Yes, here we are. You are leading the mission to send, over 1,000 police officers to Haiti to try and stabilize that country, the gang violence, the kidnappings, and so on. But the history of Haiti and U.S. involvement is not irrelevant there. There's a history of failed international peacekeeping missions led by the U.S. and the United Nations. Haitians themselves are very anxious and not trusting of such missions. The U.S. is contributing more than $300 million, and those opposed to this see this as an extension of the troublesome U.S. hand in Haitian affairs, and that Kenya is somehow being used as a proxy to further the interests of the U.S. there. What is the basis for your confidence given the history?
This is not the first mission Kenya is engaged in. We have been in 47 other missions around the world, including in very difficult places like Kosovo. We have built experience, we have built understanding, and I am very confident that Kenya has what it takes to be able to handle the situation in Haiti. Number two, we also believe that the responsibility rests with countries like Kenya and others that believe in democracy, in freedom, in the rule of law, and in peace. And we believe that the same way we need peace and security in Kenya, and in all the other places we have supported peace and security, so does the people in Haiti. And the reason why Kenya has been called upon to participate and to take lead in Haiti is because it's difficult. That's the reason. If it wasn't difficult, maybe other countries would have been asked to do it.
Is Kenya the right country to do it, given that your own police force have been accused of extrajudicial killings at home, police brutality? Human rights groups are criticizing the human rights records of police in Kenya. 136 extrajudicial killings in the past year. They're not up to the task.
Our history in peacekeeping, our history in peacemaking is up to scrutiny. Anybody can judge what Kenyans have done, both within and without. When I came into office, I made a commitment that there will never be any extrajudicial killings in Kenya. And that is the case.
But you supported the police when they cracked down on protesters.
And I intend to keep it that way.
Did you not support
and
the police?
Any police, men or women, who use extra constitutional means that are not provided for, we have an independent police oversight authority that have taken policemen to court. Our record is straight, and I have enhanced the capabilities of our policemen, the judicial system. We have worked with the Chief Justice. In fact, I just swore in 20 extra judges. In fact, in my 1.5 years in office, I have recruited 46 additional judges to make sure that the criminal justice system is up to the mark, to make sure that everybody, including the police, operate within the parameters of the law. Everybody must be accountable, starting with the president. Must be accountable. We must live within the parameters of the law. That is why even this deployment was taken to court by Kenyans. But let me tell you, the cabinet has approved. Both houses of parliament, people's representatives, have approved. The police service commission, they are on board. The court have made representation. In fact, when people went to court, the court said the deployment must happen, but it must happen in a certain way. And we delayed the deployment until we complied with the law, with the court orders. So we are a country that believes in the rule of law, and it is what underpins even the relationship that we have with the United States of America. And let me give you one more point. Just 3 weeks ago, I operationalized the Public Benefits Organizations Act that will give civil society organizations more latitude in making sure that they hold government to account. And they point out when citizens' rights are being violated. It is because we are a country that believes in the rule of law. It is the reason that we are doing what we are doing, because it is the right thing. So I am very confident that our deployment in Haiti does not only meet the requirements of the law, that I can confirm, let me put it that way, that our police are professional enough to be able to discharge their responsibilities. They've done it in 47 different countries around the world. They will do it in Haiti.
So, now if you are someone who follows the affairs of Africa and a follower of my channel, you might have heard of the name William Samoei Ruto. William Samoei Ruto is the president of Kenya. He's the 5th president of Kenya. And right now, when you sometimes you might have heard the name William Ruto in a good way, or sometimes you might have heard the name in a bad way. Ruto has been making headlines. He's been moving all around, making friendship with different parts of the country. In one side, he's presenting himself as a good angel. On the other side, he's presenting himself as a good angel as well. You know, you can't represent yourself as the same person to different sides. You have to adjust yourself to the different sides you show yourself. For instance, we've seen how much the United States and Africa have been struggling politically, socially, and economically. The United States of America has always exploited Africa, and they've always wanted the resources from Africa by any means possible. That is something which is there. The Congo, the wars, we have Libya, we have many countries. We have the DRC. The DRC, there are some allegations that the West, if I say the West, you know what I mean, have been funding those fights for them. They are trying to make Africans forget about the real problem as they fight something less. You understand? This is a distraction strategy. Now, President Ruto was in this interview with BBC, with a journalist. I think she's from Al Jazeera. This journalist seems to be somebody who is also aware of how Africans perceive Dr. William Samoei Ruto. The perspective she's going to present in this video that I'm about to show you is different, and I believe it's a perspective that represents the pain of the local Africans, the pain of the common African, the pains of the people of Africa and Kenya, because Kenyans right now, we are having a very big problem with the President William Samoei Ruto. He has drafted a very, very draconian bill. It's called the Finance Bill 2024. It's still a bill. It's not been made to be an act. It's not a law yet. Yet it's a proposal that there is a very high chance it's going to pass through. And the author of this bill was William Samoei Ruto. Yeah. So without further ado, I want us to jump into this video, continue watching it. By the end of the video, I'll give you my perspective, where we will also have a deep critical analysis.
We've just concluded the first state visit of an African head of state to the United States in 16 years. Why was it important? What was the hope? What were you hoping for from your visit?
We have a relationship between Kenya and the United States over 60 years, based on common values of democracy, freedom, rule of law, inclusivity, equality. And that relationship has grown over time, and we now have a robust engagement of trade, of investment, collaboration in fields of security and peace. We have engagements in fields of diplomacy, in education, in health, in trade, as I have said, and investment. So it was time to get this relationship to the next level, and also to recalibrate our relationship between Kenya, Africa, and the US. Mm-hmm. Because for a long time, there has been a wrong narrative that has been profiled and perpetuated, that Africa is a continent of trouble, of conflict, war, disease, poverty. Yet, Africa is a very rich continent with 60% of the world's renewable energy resources, with 30% of the world's mineral resources, 65% of the world's agricultural potential, mm-hmm. and the youngest population on earth. In any case, 40% of the world's workforce will be Africans by 2040. Mm-hmm. And a quarter of the world's population will be living in that continent. That's probably that will be the largest market in the world. So Africa is a great story, and it needs to be told. And I am very happy that I got the opportunity to tell the new story of Africa.
Well, it's not insignificant that it's the first visit of an African head of state in 16 years. So it raises questions about how seriously America, the United States, takes Africa. But I want to ask you about the elephant in the room, the geopolitical tension between the United States and China. The US has made no secrets that it hopes to expand its investment in Africa. It is on the back foot because China has made gains diplomatically and economically. China is your largest trading partner, but you've got debt. I'm talking specifically the $4.7 billion that was used for the high-speed railway. You've got loans that are debilitating. So I want to ask, this geopolitical tension between the US and China and your debt burden, is that in any way informing Kenya's trade and foreign policy objectives?
First, every country has its own responsibility, and every country chooses its friends. And no country should inherit friends, enemies, tensions of others. That's number one. Number two, many people want to profile others as either facing east or facing west. Believe you me, we're neither facing east nor facing west. We're facing forward. We're looking at our opportunities. What are the real opportunities that exist in our continent? What are the partnerships that will unlock the potential that exists in Kenya? My mission to the United States is about the values we share with the United States of democracy, of freedom, of rule of law. What I have come to discuss in the United States is the relationship that we have, the trade relationship that we have. We had a conversation about the situation in our continent with respect to climate change. And we announced yesterday a relationship and a collaboration between President Biden's PGI program around renewable energy and our own Africa Green Industrialization Initiative. We had a robust conversation with President Biden on how America can lead the way in the reform of the international financial architecture so that Africa, countries like Kenya, countries in the global south, low-income countries can have access to concessional financing so that we can eliminate the high interest rates and work with a fairer international financial architecture. These are things that will benefit Kenya, yes, but it will also benefit countries in Africa and countries in the global south. So these are our interests.
Your trip comes at a very turbulent time in the world, and the United States is central to this turbulence that is playing out in the Middle East. There's growing public outrage over what is happening in Gaza, in Rafah. The International Court of Justice ordered an immediate ceasefire and a withdrawal from Rafah by Israel. A couple of days ago, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Hamas and, of course, some leadership of Israel, including the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. When you first came into office, one of your first stops, if not your first stop, was to Israel in May 2023. You described your relationship with Israel as being fruitful, as being strong, as being friendly. But in light of these developments, have you changed your mind? Are they still a friend?
Israel is a great friend of Kenya. And we believe that that should go into the future. We made a very clear statement when Israel was attacked that it was wrong. We have also made a very clear statement when there were excesses in the use of force, when children were attacked, when there were atrocities, committed against the people of Palestine. We made a very strong statement that was also wrong, because two wrongs cannot amount to a right. And we are firm in our belief of two things: that the situation in Middle East, the situation in Gaza, cannot be solved using military means. That's number one. And number two, we also are of the firm belief that a two-nation solution is the way to go. We believe in self-determination. We believe in the existence of Israel as a nation and as a friend, but we also believe in the existence of Palestine as a state. And that is our position. And we will not walk away from that. That has been Kenya's position. That continues to be Kenya's position.
At the United Nations, it's true that you voted 3 times for a ceasefire. The United States blocked that move, so there's a misalignment between you and the United States on that. You also voted recently for the recognition of the Palestinian state. You've spent a lot of time with President Biden. It's all very well to say we believe in the two-state solution, but when you are sitting with him, are you pushing strongly for an end to this calamity in the Middle East? Since the United States is seen as being central, it can stop this calamity with the sale of arms. It is perpetuating this calamity. Did you say anything about that?
The position of Kenya is known. It is not for me to decide.
You are sitting with him in the room.
It is not for me to decide the position of the United States of America.
Can we not tell your friends not to support a genocide?
And our position has been very clear when it comes to a two-state solution. It is not a position that we acquired yesterday. It is a position that has been and continues to be Kenya's position, irrespective of the positions of other countries, because We prosecute our own agenda, we speak for ourselves, we think for ourselves, and we drive our own
Mr. President, you are in the capital of the
globally.
world, in the most powerful capital in the world. You've got international aid organizations pleading and crying for help. We are seeing mass graves, children being starved and emaciated. You are here right now at this pivotal, significant political moment. Surely it's not enough to say we as Kenya call for a two-state solution when you are sitting with the man whose country is selling arms to Israel. Why not leverage your proximity and your advantage to appeal for reason?
Let me tell you, my sister, Kenya has done its bit. We have taken the firmest position when our alliance, when our interests converge with the United States, we stand together. When they don't, we stand separately. But that does not mean we become enemies. That does not mean it affects our friendship. It's just because it is what it is.
Well, you clearly are the United States' favorite partner then, because it has threatened anyone who stands against it, even Congress here introducing bills to punish countries, to punish the International Criminal Court. But for some reason, you are escaping that kind of censor. Does that indicate that you are not pushing hard because you are allies with Israel and you are nursing these relationships even in the face of such catastrophe?
That's your opinion, and it doesn't necessarily reflect what Kenya stands for. As I have told you, we are very firm in our belief on a resolution of the conflict in Gaza, not by military means. We do not support what is going on.
Now, what I can tell you as an African about this president, William Samoei Ruto, you may not know exactly who he is and his message to the people he's ruling. He's ruling the country of East Africa. Ruto is not good back at home. He's not good because he's really forcing things. You know, see, through this interview, we've seen the interviewer brought up the question of the relationship between the United States of America and Kenya. Ruto said the relationship has lasted for 60 years. 60 years is a very, very long time. Because if I remember, Kenya got its independence, the full independence was in 1964. Back in 1964 is when they got the independence. So it might be even 60 years since independence, you understand? But it has been 16 years since the last president visited USA. And that's a very huge significance, you understand? So after 16 years, Ruto is being the first president to visit again the United States of America in Kenya. And this raises questions. It raises questions a lot. We know how much the United States has exploited Africa. I don't need to provide evidence for this. We've seen, we've had, we have organs, we have agencies that work for the government of that place, and they've done harm to some people of some specific African countries. I think bringing up this question of the kind of relationship Africa is having with the United States is significant. It's not something which is genuine, you understand? One of the presidents of USA once said, America does not have permanent friends. America has permanent interests. You see, to one side, Ruto is saying we are good friends. The other side is really extorting and exploiting the Kenyan people. He's taking the police from Kenya, taking them all the way to Haiti to go and die over there. He's overtaxing the people of Kenya. You might not be in Kenya. You might not realize what's really happening. The President Ruto, he is not really what or who he shows he is. The people of Kenya really don't like him. Do your research. There are many videos on YouTube and TikTok. Check. I want you to go and search the name Finance. He's saying that, or rather he's giving the argument that Nelson Mandela gave when he was asked about his relationship with other countries. Nelson Mandela said something like, some people expect that their friends to be our friends, their enemies to be our enemies. that cannot happen. William Ruto has just paraphrased that. It is not a question of who your friend is, that your friend is. It's not a matter of that. You know, you can never serve two masters at a go. You'll despise one and love another. You'll respect another and disrespect another. You'll respect one and disrespect the other. The question is, who are you disrespecting and who are you respecting? Ruto is serving his own interests. Ruto is not serving the interests of Africans. No, he's not doing that. And all along you can see Ruto was not answering the questions. He was maneuvering. He was using facts and some arguments which are very lame to go around the questions. Africans elected Ruto because of the promises he gave. What he didn't show is how he was going to implement them. He said he'll build a very, very big road. Maybe this road he was going to build by taking money from United States of America. We were so happy and so eager to elect him. But now, people all over are crying, people all over are doing this and that. The other time, you've seen he was shaking hands with the Prime Minister of where? Of Israel. And now he's saying that he also condemned them for the actions they do in Palestine. If he really condemned them, he wouldn't be shaking the hands of that man from where? The Prime Minister of Israel. He wouldn't be shaking his hands. Because why? These people don't like to be told the truth. And Ruto, he's just there to serve his pockets, not to serve the people of Africa. He is forgetting that leaders are always jailed. Presidents who were exploiting power while they were in power, because a president might not be arrested while in power, but once they leave power, they can be arrested, they can be sued. Ruto is forgetting all this. And some of you might not know this. Ruto was once accused of the 2007 post-election violence in Kenya. He was one of the people who were taken to The Hague for manslaughter. President Ruto has a very, very long, dark history. And Kenyans, oh my God, Kenyans didn't listen. We have something with tribalism affecting Kenyans. We've had like two presidents come from, presidents have always been coming from two tribes in Kenya, the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu. All the presidents have come from those two tribes, Kalenjin and Kikuyu. The first president was Kikuyu, the second was Kalenjin, whose name was Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. The first president was Jomo Kenyatta, and now Ruto succeeded Uhuru Kenyatta, the son of the first president. You get how this thing is moving. And this is why we are saying, before Africans elect a leader, they should think fast and go through the history. Ruto has proved that we are a very long way to go if these are the kind of leaders we have today. I'm glad that this sister was able to exploit and show who the real person of William Ruto is. If you enjoy my work, do subscribe to the channel. I will so much appreciate. See you in the next one.